development of specific immune response, and hence it is non-specific. Normal defense mechanism of host, they are directed either towards the exclusion, that we remove or destroy the pathogenic microorganisms as soon as they reach the body surface, or let's say they or from the environment, or they get penetrated deeper into the tissues or fluids. So body's non-specific defenses, they act as first line of defense. First line of defense against what? Against the invaders. The innate immunity, it consists of physical barriers, that is the skin. This is, let's say, your innate immunity, non-specific barriers, that can be skin, that can be let's say such as mucous membrane, like the one which is present on your internal of your external nares, mouth, that is a mucous membrane. Then bile, earwax, we know that is a waxy substance, catches hold of the microorganisms. Sweat, pH of body fluids, very important, pH of body fluids, body temperatures, tears, all these are the barriers which are anatomical barriers, right? Physiological barrier and physiological barrier. Your skin and mucous membrane are the anatomical barriers and rest are the physiological barriers. Then we have cellular barriers. What are these cellular barriers? Such as your neutrophils, type of blood cells, neutrophils, monocyte, another type of blood cells, white blood cells. Then we have natural killer cells, macrophages. All of you are aware of these different type of cells. So these are our cellular barriers. Then we have cytokine barriers. So what are cytokine barriers? Such as interferons. We'll talk about that. And complement system. So that was non-specific type of innate immunity, whereas the first in the beginning we talked about the specific type of immune system, specific type of innate immunity. Now, in detail, the details of the anatomical and physiological barriers. Right. So now I'm talking about, let's say, the physical and physiological barriers. Physiological barriers of immunity, right? So when we talk about physical barriers, as I said, you have the skin. First of all, foremost, horny layer, stratum corneum, makes the topmost layer, which is keratinized layer. It is a mechanical barrier to the invading microorganisms. Plus, it also provides bactericidal secretions. Horny, waterproof. That is waterproof also. And second thing, it provides bactericidal secretions. So what are these bactericidal secretions? Let's have a look. These are sebaceous secretions that contains fatty acids like oleic acid, okay, oleic acid plus free saturated fatty acids. Both these substances, they have bactericidal plus fungicidal properties. Bactericidal as well as fungicidal properties. And moreover, the sweat, which is having high concentration of salt, that also is lethal to many bacteria and fungi. Then we have, besides this, we have physical barriers: nose, nasopharynx, and respiratory tract. Mucosa of respiratory tract, it has several mechanisms of defense. First of all, the structure is such, the architecture of the nose is such that it prevents the entry of microorganisms to large extent. Then inhaled particles, they are arrested very near to the entrance nasal orifices by nasal hair. When they pass beyond the nasal hair, they get held on to the mucous lining of the epithelium. They are swept back to the pharynx where they are swallowed down or coughed out. So cough is a kind of, you can say, it is a reflex action. And one of the important mechanism of the respiratory tract, cilia of the respiratory epithelial cells, they push those particles upwards. Moreover, nasal and respiratory, both, they contain certain, these secretions, they contain mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides they have. Hence, these mucopolysaccharides, they are capable of neutralizing many of the some viruses. Neutralize some viruses. They are neutralized. So particles which manage to reach the pulmonary alveoli are ingested by phagocytic cells which are present there. So this is the type of defense mechanism, barrier, which is present in nose, nasopharynx, and respiratory tract. Then we have mouth, stomach, intestinal tract. Now what they do? Mouth has saliva, which has inhibitory effect on many microorganisms. Particles deposited in the mouth, they are swallowed and subjected to action of certain digestive juices. pH, progressively it becomes, stomach has acidic pH, then it turns alkaline, and these are destroyed. The high acidity of the stomach destroys most of the organisms. Then particles finally get enmeshed in the mucus in the large intestine and form small masses, and they are propelled by peristalsis. So these are the defense lines in mouth and stomach and gastric intestinal tract. Then eyes. Conjunctiva, it is freed of foreign particles by flushing action of lacrimal secretion, tear glands. They wash. Tear glands, they have tears, they have lysozyme that also lyses the bacteria, some of the bacteria. Then genitourinary tract, urinary tract, flushing action of urine that eliminates bacteria from urethra, spermine and zinc present in semen, they have antibacterial activities, etc., etc. So these were the physical barriers and physiological barriers, first line of defense mechanism. Now the second defense line is cellular barriers. So already we have I have briefed about the cellular barriers. Once the effective agent has crossed these barriers, anatomical barriers, now cellular and humoral factors, they are operative in the body. So cellular factors, cellular barriers, when certain infective agent, pathogen, that infects the tissue response, inflammatory reaction. It shows inflammatory reaction or response whenever these pathogens, they accumulate in a tissue at the site of infection. And cellular barriers are, the cellular barriers types are phagocytic barriers, and natural killer cells, and acute phase proteins. So phagocytic barriers, what phagocytic barriers do? They attack certain pathogen. Suppose this is a pathogen entering the body. Phagocytic barriers attack these, engulf these, and eliminate microbes or foreign particles whenever they enter into the body. There are different types. Macrophages, polymorphonucleosides, they are phagocytic leukocytes. These cells are short-lived, produced in the bone marrow, circulate in the bloodstream for about 6 to 7 hours. Such a short lifespan they have. Injury to the tissue excites the inflammatory response. Polymorphs, they come out of the blood capillaries where they are actually streaming in here. Let's say this is a blood capillary, and here they are streaming. As certain pathogen is attacking, this is pathogen, it is attacking the tissue, they come out. They leave the capillaries and come to the site of the injury, and by that movement is called as